Well, maybe they're scared. By the way, he is a Democrat sheriff. Maybe the county guys are a little scared because you said this. I'm quoting from, it looks like the New York Times. We all know you can trust them. This is last month, May 25th. You said we have some counties that are renegade counties and work with ICE. Maybe they're nervous of being called a renegade county by their governor. So the Democrat sheriff says, we're not going to keep the machete-wielding, cop-choking, corrections officer assaulting guy. We're not going to keep him here for you to get here. We can't even wait an hour and 18 minutes. Oh, you know what else was interesting in this case? You know what else was interesting? There was actually an arrest warrant from United States District Court, Northern District of New York, signed by Judge Wiley Danks, magistrate from Syracuse. There was an arrest warrant, and they still couldn't keep him.
The state of New York cooperates. We cooperate in removal of individuals who've served time. We respond to detention. You're confusing, and maybe there's a lesson in civics here that's necessary.
Will you say on the record right here, I got 12 seconds, will you say on the record, was Tompkins County wrong in the actions they took on January 25th, 2025, when they wouldn't hold the guy for 1 hour and 18 minutes?
Welcome back to American Mindset, the channel where we stand up for freedom, common sense, and the values that make America great. I'm your host. And today we're diving into one of the most outrageous examples of sanctuary policies putting innocent Americans at risk. If you love this country and believe in the rule of law, you're not going to want to miss this. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because the fight for America starts here. Let's watch the video.
Recognizes Mr. Jordan from Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Governor Hochul, third paragraph, second sentence in your written testimony, you said New York State cooperates with U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement in criminal cases. Governor, who's Jesus Romero Hernandez?
Thank you. I want to reaffirm that we do cooperate in cases where...
That wasn't the question. I just read your statement. I can read your statement. Who is Jesus Romero Hernandez?
I don't have the details on every single person in the state of 20 million people.
I understand, but this guy's a citizen of Mexico, deported 7 times, came to your state, assaulted one of your residents with a machete, choked a police officer, then when he was in custody, assaulted a corrections officer. ICE finds out this guy is in your state's custody, and they send you a detainer. You're familiar with a detainer, right?
Yes, I am.
Notice of action, immigration detainer to Tompkins County Jail from Syracuse Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. Section 1, they check a couple boxes. The first one they check is a final order of removal against the alien has taken place. That means a court has said this guy needs to go. This machete-wielding, cop-choking, corrections officer assaulting guy needs to go. Then they also check another box and they say biometric confirmation of who this individual is, this alien's identity. So they got the right guy, and a court has said he needs to go. Any idea what Tompkins County Jail decided to do with that detainer order?
I will tell you this, the state of...
it's a specific question.
Well,
what did Tompkins County do?
The descriptions you have put forth are absolutely chilling and disturbing and reprehensible to all of us. My job is to protect the people of New York.
Which is why I'm asking the question. What did Tompkins County do?
What I have responsibility for,
I will tell you, since you're not going to answer.
Courts,
we cannot and will not hold Mr. Hernandez. Yeah. We can't keep the machete guy who had choked a police officer and assaulted a corrections officer. We can't keep him. In fact, we have the back and forth from Tompkins County and ICE on January 28th of this year, 8:56 p.m. Tompkins County tells ICE, we're not going to hold this guy. 7 minutes later, ICE responds back, we will be there to take custody this evening. 24 minutes later, Thompson County reiterates, we're not going to have him. We're not going to turn him over. 10:45. ICE arrives at the jail. 1 hour and 18 minutes later, and guess what? Mr. Hernandez is not there. They couldn't wait 1 hour and 18 minutes for a guy who assaulted one of your residents with a machete, choked a police officer, and then when in custody, assaulted corrections officers. That is sanctuary policy in a nutshell, and that is what your state supports, and so do these other governors. That is what is so wrong, why the American people hate this concept.
You're conflating what the state of New York does is I control state police and prisons. We have turned over 1,300 people.
So you disagree with it?
We turn over 1,300 people.
Did the sheriff make the wrong call?
Those are local policies that we would not have done in the state of New York. State of New York, that is a local decision.
So you're saying the sheriff's wrong?
I would say this, if it happened in a state prison, we have already turned over 1,300 people.
Sheriff in Tompkins County, a
I want to say
Democrat or
this.
Republican, Governor?
There have
You have
been
any idea?
times, excuse
The
me,
sheriff in Tompkins County, a Democrat or Republican?
excuse me, there have
No,
been
excuse
times
me, I
when
ask the questions, you give the
Well, I'm
answers. Is he a
asking
Democrat or
for a
Republican? Do
second.
you know?
I'm asking for this moment to explain that I'm sometimes waiting
I'm
for
asking,
ICE
is he a
to come pick
Democrat or
up
Republican,
people.
and do you agree
I
with the
believe
actions
he's a
he took?
Democrat.
Do you agree with the actions he took? How about that question?
They are in conflict with what the state of New York would do.
Well, maybe they're scared. By the way, he is a Democrat sheriff. Maybe the county guys are a little scared because you said this. I'm quoting from, it looks like the New York Times. We all know you can trust them. This is last month, May 25th. You said we have some counties that are renegade counties and work with ICE. Maybe they're nervous of being called a renegade county by their governor. So the Democrat sheriff says, we're not going to keep the machete-wielding, cop-choking, corrections officer assaulting guy. We're not going to keep him here for you to get here. We can't even wait an hour and 18 minutes. Oh, you know what else was interesting in this case? You know what else was interesting? There was actually an arrest warrant from United States District Court, Northern District of New York, signed by Judge Wiley Danks, magistrate from Syracuse. There was an arrest warrant, and they still couldn't keep him.
The state of New York cooperates. We cooperate in removal of individuals who've served time. We respond to detention. You're confusing, and maybe there's a lesson in civics here that's necessary.
Will you say on the record right here, I got 12 seconds, will you say on the record, was Tompkins County wrong in the actions they took on January 25th, 2025, when they wouldn't hold the guy for 1 hour and 18 minutes? Was
Those are
Tompkins
not the
County
policies
wrong?
that we would have in the state of
No,
New
no,
York. Those
but-
are not the policies we would have in a.
Were they wrong? Should
Because
they,
I've
should
already
they have turned
said
that guy over to ICE? It's a
I've-
simple question, Governor.
that was a horrible situation. The person should not have been out there, and
It's a horrible situation, but it's a yes or no question.
it is a response that this is a locality.
Do you agree or
In the
disagree?
state of New York,
Agree or
the person
disagree?
should have been held.
Yes or no?
The person should have been held, and in the state of New York, we would have turned him over. That is in conflict with what we would do as a state
appreciate
with
the chair's
respect to
indulgence. I
prison.
yield back.
And I want to know why ICE won't come and pick up the individuals who have served time in our state. I have cases where they have not even shown
Governor, a
up.
court order and a detainer for a guy who did the things Mr. Hernandez did, and Tompkins County can't hold him an hour and 18 minutes, and you won't say that's wrong?
I have said we cooperate when there's a criminal case where someone has committed a
This is
crime. We
sanctuary
turn them
policy.
over.
This is sanctuary policy in a nutshell. You won't even
You're
condemn something that anyone
mischaracterizing.
with common sense knows is ridiculous.
You're mischaracterizing the
Chair-
laws of the state
I
of
had the
New York.
facts here.
That's
Oh,
all
can I
right.
do one other thing, Mr. Chairman? Now he's been rearrested, and guess what? This guy who's now been rearrested, there is imminent danger that this inmate will do injury
give
to
him a
himself and
minute.
to others and presents a threat to safety, security, and good order of the facility, so he's not permitted to leave his cell. So this guy's not even allowed out of his cell, but they let him out on the street a few months ago. That's how ridiculous this is.
When he does leave his cell, it'll be go back to
Gentlemen,
his country under our
time's
orders for
expired.
deportation.
Chair recognizes Mr. Mfume, and I'll give you an extra minute.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I've got 2 unanimous consent requests that I hope would not count against my time.
Folks, let me lay this out for you. During a recent congressional hearing, Representative Jim Jordan from Ohio confronted a New York governor about an absolutely infuriating case. A man named Jesus Romero Hernandez, a criminal who was deported 7 times, was living in New York and went on a rampage. He assaulted a resident with a machete, choked a police officer, and even assaulted a corrections officer while in custody. This is not just some guy crossing the border to find work. This is a violent criminal with a long record of putting others in danger. And yet, when ICE issued a detainer, basically asking the local jail to hold him until federal agents could come and pick him up, what did Tompkins County do? They said no. That's right. They refused to hold him. Even though ICE confirmed his identity, even though there was a federal arrest warrant signed by a judge, this sanctuary county decided to let him walk free. This is what sanctuary policies look like, folks. They prioritize protecting criminal illegal aliens over protecting American citizens. ICE was ready to pick this guy up. They were ready to do their job. But Tompkins County couldn't be bothered to wait just 1 hour and 18 minutes for federal agents to arrive. Instead, they let a dangerous man back out onto the streets. You know who pays the price for this? We do. Law-abiding Americans. The families who live in fear because their communities are being turned into lawless zones. The victims of violent crimes like the ones committed by Hernandez. And why? Because of some twisted political agenda that puts ideology over safety. Now let's talk about the governor's response during this hearing. When Representative Jordan asked if Tompkins County was wrong to release Hernandez, the governor dodged a question over and over again. He kept saying things like, "Oh, those aren't state policies," or "that's a local decision." Excuse me? You're the governor. You're supposed to be a leader. Why can't you just say it was wrong? Why can't you condemn the release of a violent criminal who should have been handed over to ICE? I'll tell you why. It's because this governor, and so many other politicians like him, are afraid of standing up to the radical left. They're afraid of being labeled anti-immigrant or racist for simply enforcing the law. But guess what? This isn't about immigration. This is about criminals. Violent, dangerous criminals who have no business being in this country. This isn't just about one guy in New York. This is about a broken system that's failing the American people. Sanctuary policies are being pushed in cities and states across the country, and they're making it harder for IC and law enforcement to do their jobs. They're creating safe havens for criminals while leaving law-abiding citizens vulnerable. We gotta ask ourselves, what kind of country do we want to be? Do we want to be a nation of laws, where everyone is held accountable? Or do we want to be a nation where criminals get a free pass because politicians are too scared to do what's right? And here's the kicker, folks. After Hernandez was released, he was rearrested. And now, he's considered so dangerous that he's not even allowed out of his jail cell. Let that sink in. They wouldn't hold him for IC, but now he's locked up in a cell because he's a threat to everyone around him. This is the insanity of sanctuary policies. They don't make anyone safer. They just make it harder for law enforcement to protect us. This has to stop. We need leaders who will put the safety of Americans first. We need governors, sheriffs, and local officials who will work with IC to get dangerous criminals off our streets. And we need to hold politicians accountable when they refuse to do their jobs. So here's what you can do. Call your representatives. Demand that they support policies to end sanctuary cities and counties. Support candidates who are tough on crime and who respect the rule of law. And most importantly, stay informed. Don't let the media or the politicians spin these stories. The facts are right here, plain as day. Folks, this isn't just about politics. This is about the safety and security of our families, our communities, and our nation. We need to stand up and fight for what's right. Because if we don't, who will? As always, thank you for watching America Mindset. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Together, we can make a difference. God bless you, and God bless America.